Hello, I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be to troubleshoot this ugly cast Shakespeare that Rudy sent me. And Rudy's problem was he said he had taken it all apart and cleaned it and everything, and no matter how low you set the drag didn't work. Well, I'm not real sure what was going on in there. I'm going to see if I can find something out. When he sent me the reel and I tried it, he was right. I could set the drag all the way down and pull, and nothing happened. It just held solid. But now, so I'm not sure what was going on in this reel, but I'm going to take it apart and see if I see anything that could have caused it to bind up or something. But it seems that now it's working. If I adjust it the other way, it gets stronger. So we'll see what I can come up with on it. And let's take it apart and see what happens. All right. First thing we're going to do is get rid of this. We'll put that back on when we get done. Let's take the cover off. I'm going to zoom this out just a little bit so we see a little more. Okay, let's go ahead and take the spinner head off. And I can see that we've had a little bit of grease going on in here, not a lot. There shouldn't be anything in this part here that would cause any grief, and as far as the spinner head goes, as far as drag, but it's reasonably clean. I'm going to oil this part. I prefer to oil these if I can, instead of greasing them. And see how that. Okay, that's good on the roller. Now let's put a little oil under them, like so. All right, and spinner head's ready to go. All right, let's jump down here. And this is where I expected to find a problem, if there was a problem before us. And he was right. When I first got it, it would not operate the drag. And maybe when I put it back together, it won't operate. Maybe then I'll be able to figure out what's going on. Okay, so we're going to take off the E-clip, the drag washer, large metal one. Okay, then we've got the Teflon drag washer, and he has not greased it or anything, so we might add a little grease to this, just so that it runs a little smoother. But okay, nothing here. Okay, now hang on a second. What do we got here? What do we got here? Okay, Rudy, I think I found it. The way you had this stacked in, you had the metal washer on the top. There we go. There's where your problem was. All right. The way this stack was set up, you had this metal washer on the top, then you had this locking washer, and then you had your Teflon washer. Okay, that's not the direction that goes. All right, we will set it in the way it belongs, and that should take care of it. Aside from that, Rudy, you've done a really good job of cleaning this. This is really, really nice looking inside. But we will put that drag washer back the proper way. You've got your flex washer here. It's the one that's got a bend in it. And the way this should be is you should have that one, then the flex washer, then the metal one, and then your Teflon washer should go up against your spool. And that's where your problem was. And I think with me pulling on it enough, I had managed to get it broke free to where it was able to turn on there with enough lubrication. But that's where the problem was. But we're going to make sure that you're not going to have any trouble out of this. So we're going to go ahead and rotate this around to here. And now we can unscrew this, taking that assembly out. And for any of you that want to see this, I'm not going to put all this into this video. I just did an ugly cast video for Rudy, and you'll be able to see it there. You can go over and have a look. But I'm going to take this apart just to make sure that it is adequately greased inside, and because I don't want to send it back to Rudy without a good servicing. And you guys can go over there and look at the video on that. This part you'll see in fast forward, and that's where we'll stand. All right, we'll take that out. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of a problem I discovered in this reel, and that is these screws here are not tight. See there? That allows the crankshaft to bounce around, and it can cause gear grind and all kinds of things. So we're going to go ahead and tighten those two screws all the way down. There. Let's see how that looks. There we go. Okay, and looks like I'm finding the same thing on the other side. Look at there. All right, now let's see if it turns freely. And it does. No gear grind, no clicking. Anti-reverse is working. I'll put a couple of drops of oil down here and here on the anti-reverse. Okay, and we're ready to start putting this back together again. All right, now we're going to slow down at this point so that Rudy can see exactly what we do as far as putting this back. First thing we're going to do is put in this locking washer. Here it is. Okay, and I got to figure out where the locking washer goes. I'm pretty sure it goes right over here. Yep. So that tab goes right in between those two. Let's bring it out and show you that again. Okay. This little metal tab right here. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Okay, this little metal tab goes right in between these two posts right here. So it goes down just like that. And you had that part right. Make sure there's not a slot down there. No slot that it fits into. Just the two posts. Okay, so when that fits down there, that fits flush. And look, see, it fits all the way down. Okay, next is going to go this washer. This is this torsion washer. They call it a wavy washer because it's not flat. It has a wavy edge to it. Okay, it's going to go on next, like so. And if you want, these washers here, you can go ahead to help prevent them from rusting, and you can put a light coat of grease on them because they're not supplying your drag. Okay, so you can put just a light coating of grease on them to protect them from water. That way they can't corrode or rust. Okay, so put those in like so. Now, here's where it got a little better. This is where you had it. This is where it was mixed up. Okay, now goes your flat steel washer. We're going to put it on top like so. And you can either choose to grease this or not. I'm going to say no, because you want to have a good drag. Okay, and next is going to come your Teflon washer. Now, because it's Teflon, it should slide easily, and it should not require any grease whatsoever. So your Teflon washer goes on next, and then goes your spool. Okay, slide the spool all the way down. So you've got Teflon against the spool. Now you've got the Teflon at the top, on top of the spool, and that's where your drag is. Your drag is actually these Teflon washers sliding against the spool. And if you want, what you can do, let me go ahead and backtrack just a second. What you can do is put just a little bit of grease on the inside of your spool to make it easier for this to slide on and off, but it doesn't really affect your drag any. It just makes it easier to take on and off, but it will prevent you from getting too much of a buildup inside, and will allow it to spin just a little bit easier. But that's still not part of the drag. The drag is actually these Teflon washers where they're being squeezed onto that spool. Okay, so there's your Teflon washer. You got one on the top now and one on the bottom, and both of them are right directly up against the spool. Okay, once that's in place, you can come back and add in your E-clip, top to bottom, like so. And now let's take a look and see if our drag is working. Okay, it's spinning. Okay, as we tighten it down now, let's see if it tightens on the spool. Okay, that's getting tighter. And now it's really getting tight. Okay, so we've got the drag operating properly. Let's go ahead now and screw our spinner cap back on, or rotor, depending on whose terminology you want to use. And let's put our cap back on. Okay, hit the button, line comes out. Go ahead and wind it. There we go, it's winding in. Now let's take a look at our drag. Let's go ahead and start off at minimum drag. There you go. Bring it up a little bit. A little more. A little more. Getting really tight. Getting tighter. Now it's really tight. Almost tight enough to bust the line. All right, so there you have it, Rudy. We have repaired your Ugly Cast. I didn't see anything in there except for having those washers in the wrong position that could have caused what you had. And it is working the way it should. So we're gonna call that a repair. And the next thing I'm gonna do is try to get this, your Synergy serviced. I'm gonna go ahead and service it since I haven't done one of those. I thought I had, but I haven't. And I'll try to get that video knocked out and get these back in the mail to you. Okay? And hopefully you'll be out fishing with them again soon. There we go. All right. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please hit the dislike button. But please, by all means, tell me what it is you didn't like about the video. And for those who'd like to see further videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. And for now, that's Rick Stivers of the Young Martin's Reels, signing out.